Hey guys, welcome to Walking with Jesus. This is the second podcast of the VRBC podcast ministry, air quotes. And but this was going to be about a third of the time. If you're thinking about, I don't have all day to listen to you guys, well, you can listen to us on different days.
That's right.
And that will be it's helpful. It's been helpful for our walk with Christ. We hope it is with yours. On Walking with Jesus, we're going to take a few minutes each week and go over just some different questions that you guys might have, hot topics. How do we, or if we see something in our culture that we really want to just say, how do we think through, how do we live in a way that honors Christ? That's what we're going to do. We're going to start off this week with talking about the benefits of a routine, since we are getting back into the routine of school starting back and just the rhythms. Sometimes we bust on routines, but routines can also be something helpful. So Pastor
Absolutely.
Jake's going to kick it off with his lime green shirt over there.
I do. Yes, I am. It is super hot still. Even though it's the end of August, it's miserable. This is our second.
It's probably cooling though to look like a Skittle.
It feels good. I gotta say, it's got one of those shirts like we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's got the vent in the back.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty good.
Gotta have some barbecue.
I don't mind it. It's I feel like I'm ready for it not to be hot anymore.
Yeah.
But
I look like a Smurf today, so whatever.
the blue. I didn't look. I usually match too much. That my wife says I'm a crayon.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how I think every guy learned how to dress
Yeah,
like that.
my son's like that. Yeah.
You know?
And so he's very matchy.
Yeah.
So
I was too. I just think it's how guys just our minds think, and I think that's a fine thing. I'm excited about this podcast venture. Matt had mentioned not wanting to. You can listen to us every day. Our wives want us to talk to people other than them, so maybe this will be a good way to fulfill.
We're thankful for the support of the podcast
That's
ministries.
right. That's right. And hey, look, this is our second one. We're excited about it. Look, like I was telling Matt, Rocky peaked at 4. So who knows how far we take this thing, but honestly, this will probably...
Yeah, Reagan and Stallone tore down the wall.
That's right. That's amen. And so we are talking about routines today. We are in summer's end and it's back to school time. I am a person who thrives on routine. I need regularity.
Yeah.
Habits are good for me. I need that kind of schedule guy. Paul tells us in 1 Timothy 4:7 that we're to discipline ourselves for godliness. Now, in its context, we know what Paul's talking about here, that we're to live a disciplined, self-controlled life. One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. And one of the benefits of a regular, healthy routine of life is that discipline it brings into our life. Because if we're not disciplined, our life is and can easily be chaos, right? When we don't...
For sure.
That's like with money. I think what the Dave Ramsey thing goes, he tells, if you don't tell your money where to go, you wonder where it went. Time can be the same way. Like if we're not having a regular, disciplined routine of life, I think we can find that we waste time and that we waste a lot of energy and effort, where routine is actually a really healthy thing for us. I think especially for men, it is incredibly healthy that we be organized and orderly and routined. So school's starting back, routines are back kicking in finally. I am thrilled. I love fall and school starting back and having routines. So
it's a great time of year, fall. I love summer, but fall's is number one.
Fall's the best.
Me. Yeah.
I've already started growing my fall beard back in.
Nice.
It is way grayer this year than it was last year, so I don't know how I feel about that.
It's all right.
But that's just kind of how things go. So let's talk about routines. So Matt, what are some of the things in your life? What are some of the routines that you find helpful, some patterns of life? What do you love or embrace and find beneficial in routines and some of the ones you
brought up scheduling as well as routine. And so one of the things professionally that I found helpful in ministry and in jobs outside of ministry, I try to know what my day needs to look like going into it. And so I will write down, when I first started, I would write down pretty much every 30 minutes what I needed to be doing.
Okay, yeah.
And I would have my what I want to accomplish list, and then actually where does it fit in on the calendar of events for the day. And so that's helpful. If not, we're not going to just randomly get to stuff we want to accomplish. So you don't have to do it like I do it, but that's just helped me the way I'm wired, the way my brain works. What are my goals? What I need to check off the list? Those are different, but still need to be covered and thought through. And then how's it fit into my day? And if it doesn't fit into today, how can I put that on the top the following day?
Oh, yeah.
And then so that's the schedule side of it. As far as a routine, for me, it's very important for me to start my day in the Word. And so it depends on I do Old Testament and a New Testament reading, but not at the same time, because I can't successfully process.
Okay, so you break that up. That's good,
Yeah,
though. That's interesting.
meditate on that.
Yeah.
So now I can't sometimes. It just kind of depends
Depends on
on
passage.
yeah,
Yeah.
type
Genre.
of literature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just that if the Lord really brings something out, I really want to focus on that, and then I'll swing back around in lunch break,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and spend some time then. But yes, just to start my day in the Word. So in the Word, so my brain doesn't go off to everything else I have to do.
Yeah.
Because it's important. I've got my goals, I've got my to-do list, but I want to live this day for the Lord, because the Lord, He blessed me with it, so I want to glorify Him. So starting where He gets, kind of get your mind right.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
absolutely.
get
Yeah.
after it from there.
And I think having Bible reading as part of a regular routine of life is vitally important. Getting into a regular pattern of being in the Word and prayer is really beneficial for our souls. I know everybody has a different way it fits, and what fits for you, as a listener, or me, or Matt, it might not exactly be the same time, but it just needs to happen.
Yeah.
And you need to find where it fits best. I know for my dad, for years, he would do his Bible reading, told me at work, at lunch. And he was, towards the end of his career, he had other guys who were Christians, and they could kind of read together, but he would always read at lunchtime, every single day, do his Bible reading. When he retired, I was talking to him, he's like trying to figure out where does that fit. So what he does now is he gets up at like 6, because he's an old man, and that's just kind of what old people do. So he gets up super early still, he doesn't need to, and he does it first thing every morning. He does his Bible reading. And he's actually gotten where, and he'll send us like text messages of what he did and what he got out of it. And it's actually really helpful thoughts. And I read them, I was like, yes, it's pretty good, Dad.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes it's on what, like he's done it on our podcast, the other podcast, or one of our sermons, and I'm thinking, I feel weird about like, don't tell me what I said, I know what I said. I don't want to like that because it's a little...
Yeah, it's like a retweet or something.
But he does a really good job at having that built into his routine. And I think, for me, I have it, we all have our patterns. I am kind of when you're writing a sermon, you're always in it. So how do you differentiate between what you're writing for your sermon and what you're doing for yourself? And the way I tend to do it is that middle of the day period too. I will find another passage that I'm going through, whether it's, for a long time I used Spurgeon's morning and evening. I thought that was really helpful, but now I just go through the Bible. So I just take a chunk at a time and make my way through the Bible that way. But having that as a part of routine, and a part of that too is getting back in the routine of regular worship attendance.
No doubt.
And it's not just like the pastor's telling you to go to church, though we are telling you to go to church.
Yeah.
That is still a right and good thing to do.
Bring
you need
somebody
to be
with
there.
you.
That's right. But regular corporate worship is critical to our spiritual health. Always. When someone is struggling and they're drifting and they're not feeling super close to God, almost always it's because they're not going to church.
Yeah.
Almost always. Being together and worshiping with other believers is vitally important to you, but it's also important to others.
That's easy to forget, especially when you don't want to come.
Yeah.
I don't want to come. I've got something else to do today. Something's on TV. I've had a rough week, which are all great reasons to come. Had a rough week.
Yeah.
But how we make it, just the ministry of presence, being around, is an encouragement to others.
That's right.
Other believers. It's helpful for non-believers who are there to have other people and
to talk to meet.
Sure. So they don't feel like they're the are people looking at you? There's other people around.
There's other people there. Yeah, and you don't know like what relationship you're going to build, what needs somebody has that you can be there and meet. Understandably, it's summer. It's one of the first real summers since COVID. So vacations are gone. People are out. They should be. Encourage you to take time. But as we hit the fall, regular church and worship attendance is vital for your soul, for the soul of your fellow church members, for visitors.
No doubt.
And you need to be engaged in the life of the church that way and help engage in the ministry. So those are the spiritual routines. And I'm like Matt when it comes to my own like day-to-day life. I'm big on I'm a list guy.
Mm.
Always have been. And every day I have it. I got a sheet of one of those like yellow
Legal
legal
pads,
pad deal.
yeah.
And I write everything down I need done that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just go through the list. Boom, 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 boom. I'm not so much the hour blocks
Mm-hmm.
always, even though I do have things, with the teaching side of what I do have certain meetings that fit into hour blocks, and I use the calendar app, but not
Yeah.
primarily. I focus my day on that routine of these are the things I do on Mondays,
Right.
and I try to do about the same thing
Mm-hmm.
every week. Right, Mondays there's some church stuff, there's some school stuff. I want to get my passage looked at. I want
Yep.
to get an outline or close
Mm-hmm.
to it, and every day I work towards that end. Towards the end of the week, it's a different set of things we try to accomplish. But having that is, I think, really helpful for us. I mean, even around the house, getting into routines, cutting the grass or, doing the laundry or putting the dishes in or whatever you find is helpful every day. It keeps your life moving forward.
It does. It all fits together, as you talk about, even so you don't feel overwhelmed. So if we get behind on our household responsibilities,
Yeah.
we're going to likely push away the spiritual opportunities
Mm-hmm.
of spending time with God. And so it's good just to stay up on whether we're washing dishes or clothes or whatever it might be for you in your house. Just take care of that so you can spend
Yeah.
time with the Lord, and we're not as stressed, as it's easy for anybody to get overwhelmed, and helps. And it kind of reminds me of the routines also of physical health, how it impacts spiritual
It
health.
does, absolutely.
And so if we can get in a routine also with just from eating better portions, trying to get some steps in, work out as you can,
Mhm.
and then that gives me, I'll speak personally, it gives me energy,
Yeah.
this physical energy just to go through and to stay focused
Yep.
and time with the Lord. And so I think routine's great, and it's a great time of year to get in a routine for individually, your walk with Christ, and then like you say, as that all leads to our time together as a local body of Christ, worshiping and serving together.
And I think one more that I would say, especially if you still got kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
Now that school's back and getting ready to start back next week, it's a great time to get back into a routine of family devotions.
Yes.
And people get scared by family devotions.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? What do we do? It's not overly complicated.
Yeah.
We overly complicate it.
Yeah.
But in our house, when I'm with the kids, now that they can read, I have them read some more. I will still read to them from time to time, but I like to have them read it to me because I think it's a healthy pattern for them. But you read a little passage, you talk about it for a few seconds.
Yep.
And if you're at home, you're like, well, I'm not a pastor, I don't know what this means. Well, if you're in a study Bible,
Yep.
that's pretty much all you need. If your kids have questions, you can get most of the answers there. But you go through it, you read the passage, you say, what do you think Jesus is saying here? What is Moses saying here? All right, how do we live? Like, how does this help us? And it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then you pray, and you have encouraged your child to pray if they're old enough.
Yep.
What do you want to pray for? And they'll have their friends at school, or they'll have grandparents, and these things. And then you just pray with them, and it's 15 minutes, 10 minutes tops. But it's building that healthy pattern for them, letting your kids know and reminding you that your family life revolves around God.
Yes.
And the Word.
Mm-hmm.
I know sports are starting back up, and we do those, and the travel sports are crazy, and you're doing everything, and we live that life too. But when you anchor your life around the Word routinely, it helps them to remember what is actually the most important thing in your family, that it is God, and that keeps your priorities straight day by day.
No doubt. And God is, His Word's not going to return void. And as you get older, it'll just be like little light bulbs going off for your kids, and then they'll say, "Oh, I remember this story," or "This is kind of like this parable we read a couple weeks ago or something." So we don't have to be experts. We just have to be faithful.
That's right. Just be faithful.
Read, pray.
That's right. And start simple. Start in the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
Or do the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
Those two are sections of the Bible that are basically self-explanatory.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's good for your kids to know the 10 Commandments.
Right.
And to memorize them. And it's good for your kids to know the Lord's Prayer. It's good for them to know these things. So you can start there. That'll take weeks to get through.
Yeah.
And then, come find me your map. We'll tell you where to go next.
Yeah. I think just jumping off in there and being faithful to spend time in the Word is of first importance, and then the Spirit will guide, will guide us from there.
Absolutely, having that willing heart,
Yes.
I think is absolutely critical.
Availability.
hmm So, yeah, that's our importance of routines and being disciplined for godliness, focusing on the right things, being diligent in our personal devotion, being diligent in our corporate worship, being diligent in our household responsibilities, being diligent at work, and actually working hard for the Lord. I was going to spend some time, and I think we'll do this in the future. We'll do a segment on work and quiet quitting and all of these things that exist in the world today, and how do Christians look at work? Because how we review work should be distinctly Christian. And what does that look like? That's what we'll get to. But having these routines are good for our souls. So having these routines as we start school back. And if you got, suggestions or questions, please reach out. Let us know. With that, we got a few other topics we want to dive into today that I think will be a lot of fun. So Matt came to me and had this idea, and I loved it. He said, classy or country? And he looked at, tell me this, talk about the food and what the conversation you
a
had.
lady I work with, her daughter just is presenting a paper or going to some classes, conference over in France. And so she sent, texted a picture of her meal, and it was frog legs.
Okay.
Really pretty presentation on the plate.
Okay.
And that got me to thinking, you can have frog legs in France, but you can also have them, fried at a gas station.
Which is the gas station in North Carolina where we used to live. Had them on Friday, Frog Leg Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And they were lined out the door
Right.
to get the fried frog legs.
So that so how about we just go through? I'll fire off some food, and you tell me country. Can it be? Is it class? Can it be classy, or is it pretty much always going to be country?
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll start with, of course, frog legs. What do you think?
Frog legs, I think, can be both. Obviously, your coworker's daughter was in the land of Pepe Le Pew.
Yep.
So, it's whatever it is. It's the Frenchies. But I think it can be classy. Even though I've never...
I really don't want to see it. But that's what I didn't like about it, but I agree. It can be classy
I have
for sure.
had them there. The fried frog legs are fine.
Yeah.
I would never order them in public, though. And
Yeah.
I want someone who's super hillbilly frying up my frog legs.
No doubt. I'm going to need them to be overnourished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. All right.
I don't eat frog legs from a skinny guy.
Nope.
Next, rabbit.
Rabbit, man. Rabbit to me, you do see it again, French. It's fancy. I love rabbit. And with that, duck.
Yes.
So I think it is classy.
Did you have that in Quebec? Do you have any duck?
I did.
Yeah.
I had duck and rabbit in
Okay.
Quebec. And great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Anytime I see duck on a menu, I'm pretty much always going to
Yeah,
get it.
same. I've only had it. I haven't even had it a handful of times, but probably 3 times. I've always liked it. Had rabbit twice, probably.
Good. Now, I do rabbit stew is the best to me. It's kind of like squirrel's gross. But
we'll get there. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But rabbit, I think, is can be classy. Rabbit's classy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, just it's funny. It depends on where you are, and I guess what the plate looks like.
Yeah.
So how about you mentioned it, the yard rat? How about squirrel?
Squirrel. See, so squirrel is country to me. Squirrel cannot be classy because I don't like it. It is a little stringy. You got to kill a lot of squirrels to get enough food.
Yeah.
And if you're using like shotgun, like birdshot or something in it,
bluegill on the land,
and you got to get all the pellets out of it. It's a lot of work. Squirrels eat gross things.
Yeah.
Squirrel is country, and it's also always a hard pass.
Yeah.
For me,
I've never had it. Out of the ones we've mentioned, that's the one I haven't had. You mentioned snake earlier.
Snake, yes. So my grandmother would cook snake. My grandma Betty Jean, she we had my uncle killed a rattlesnake when we were deer hunting, and obviously you kill everyone you see, kind of deal. And so skinned it up, and she fried it. Cooked it up, fried it in the frying pan, served it with biscuits, and
Okay, served it with, as in the biscuit on the side.
Yeah, on the side. Yep. The old like lard type biscuits on the side, right?
Yeah.
And so she kind of used, I guess, a similar batter you'd fry pork chop with.
Yeah.
That she did. Snake. It was still the weirdest.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest experiences. It has a pork texture, but it tastes like chicken. And it's really a mind trick on.
I just want to know, like, did you feel more evil after
That's a good question. Because you do feel like you're eating like in this disgusting
Yeah.
thing that spends its time slithering.
I don't know if you had
and-
to eat it with like an apple or a fruit or something
Yeah.
like that. So,
Well, you wonder, it's like, man, this thing eats gross, but I mean, let's face it, I love catfish and it's a bottom dweller.
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
so whatever.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever.
Mhm.
I would probably not want it again.
yeah.
If I'm hungry, I would eat it,
Sure,
obviously,
yeah.
because it's there. It was super weird, but it was a bizarre. Obviously, that's country.
Yeah.
They're not eating that anywhere else.
I don't think.
It is disgusting.
Other rule settings
yeah.
around the world. Last one, chitlins.
Chitlins. Chitlins are country. I don't really like chitlins.
Man, I've never had. I've never.
I'm not gonna go for the
Yeah.
chitlins. That is straight country.
In Alabama, there was a festival at one county over, a chitlin festival,
Of course, there was.
and it smelled so bad, they said, in that town that day. But
Yeah.
it was,
Oh,
not to be
gross.
confused with the Frog Festival, which was. I don't think they even had frog at the Frog Festival, which is the name of it. But,
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
just like we're going to name it, so you
Yes.
should come in.
We used to go to the Watermelon Fest in Murfreesboro,
Whoa.
North Carolina. That was
Tracy Bird
a
there?
Tracy Bird song. Yeah, that was a great time.
Mm-hmm.
That was
it wasn't the song.
yeah, it was such a cool place.
Mhm.
They now like they do a 5K. They like have food trucks.
So on the
and
5K, can you run, walk, and crawl?
you can all the rest whatever you need to do. The worst part about it though is it's like this week, so it's the
Yeah.
end of August, and in North Carolina is hot.
Yeah.
But it's also when they're harvesting watermelons, and
Yeah.
so it makes
Go
sense.
for it.
But man, but chitlins are gross. I want nothing. to do
Yeah.
with them
No.
ever.
I no. As a kid, I saw the In Living Color sketch on chitlins, and that was probably it for me, man. No thanks. So
Yeah, I am out. I'm out of chitlins. Ugh, no. Hey, that's but anyway. Do you have a food topic that is country or classy? Let us
maybe you've
know.
heard something, like
Yeah.
like you go on vacation somewhere, and you're like, I've heard this. What is this restaurant? What is this type of food? We'll let you know.
We will. We are experts, at least on the countryside.
Yeah.
Of country classy. Classy, not so much. But
I had a neighbor. His parents moved out of New York to South Carolina, and had 2 Waffle House experiences.
whoa,
Yeah.
man, there's nothing better than a Waffle House.
man.
Also, nothing worse than a Waffle House.
Well, he
at
had
the
two
same time.
two vastly different
Okay.
experiences. And he said the first one was the coldest place he'd ever been in. He's on planet Earth. He said inside or outside, it was the coldest place. You can't even, the windows are fogged up and everything. And but he said it was good. I think he got the All-Star Special without the waffle.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't want to ask. I was.
I love the
yeah.
All-Star Special.
Yeah, and
That's all I ever
go
ordered.
for the waffle.
Get the waffle. You're there.
I might even
Do
go
it.
like an extra thing of butter.
Yeah. I miss the Waffle House.
Me too.
I loved it. I remember going to Waffle House back when you could still smoke inside
Yeah.
restaurants in North Carolina.
Sure.
And the cook would be back there,
Peppering the.
smoking a
yeah.
cigarette over top of the
Yeah.
griddle as
Right.
he's someone called the Waffle House the Southern Hibachi because you got all
Yes.
like the eggs and
No
the,
doubt. That's
and the
great.
bacon and sausage all over the same grill.
The only thing that, to me, in a Waffle House that rivals the waffles is the jukebox selection.
Love it. So good.
Yeah.
I feel like a Waffle House is the best and worst that humanity has to offer, generally at the same time.
It is, somebody compared a Waffle House to Fox News. It's depending on what time of day you tune in. It's kind of the quality.
Quality of the people around you, man.
Yeah.
But it can be. I'm a big Waffle House
No doubt.
fan. Even
Any
though
time
I
of
will
day,
say,
man.
for your safety and sanctification, avoid a Waffle House probably after 11 p.m.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
I mean, let's face it. If you're there,
Unless you want to feel good about your life,
That's
and you're just
right.
kind of down in the dumps, then sure.
but you don't need to be there at the same time. Say Kid Rock would show up to start a
No,
brawl.
that's right.
We want to avoid the Waffle House when it's too late at night. So
Yeah,
that's
the W is not lit up on the sign after 11.
that's
it just
right.
goes to the Awful House.
Awful House. Oh man! So we're going to turn in our last few minutes here. We're going to turn to sports. Turn into sports. I think there are some. We are heading into football season.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL season is among us soon. Typically, when guys have these conversations, guys and gals talk about Super Bowl favorites, we're going to do that after we trash on our local teams. Who's going to lose more games, the Jets or the Giants?
I think the Giants are going to lose more games.
Okay.
They had mainly I'm going to say that because both teams are bad, and I pull for the Jets. The Giants had some bad injuries
Yeah.
here that are going to I think
And one dude tore his Achilles.
Yeah, and then
that's
think about
the
trading somebody
grossest.
else.
That's the grossest sports injury in my brain.
Yeah.
Is the torn Achilles.
That's so tough.
It just makes me gag reflex when you think about that.
Yeah, I don't. And they. Yeah, I think the Giants might have some toughness issues.
You don't say.
Yeah, so the Jets, they've gotten better over the past couple of years. I think they have a higher floor, and so when you're talking about who's going to lose more, could possibly the Giants somehow figure it out playing in the NFC East, which is
Well, that's
not
what I was
good.
going to say.
So
Yeah. And
maybe.
that's where I'm at with, like, both teams are trash. Both quarterbacks are bums. I mean, not as humans, just at the sport. And maybe Zach Wilson will be good, but generally speaking, if
They're probably not going to compete for a
you're not.
Pro Bowl start.
Let's face it. That's outside of Doug Flutie, short white quarterbacks don't have a good chance here. But maybe they do. But I was look at the conference, look at the division. First, obviously, the AFC is the strongest conference, and the AFC East is brutal. I mean, Belichick's going to be there. He's got his second year with Mac Jones. They're probably going to sweep the Jets.
Yeah, they might. I don't think it's as brutal as it. I don't know. I mean, but you think about Tom Brady going through the Dolphins. They're like the Tennessee Titans, 7-9, 8-8, 9-7.
Yeah, that's true. The Dolphins stink.
And then you've got that one other. Who's the other team?
Is it the Bills?
Oh, the Bills are great.
They're going to smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a smoke show. That's 2 losses.
For sure. No doubt.
So, I mean, you're looking in division, not much of a chance. And I haven't seen the rest of the schedule, but
you can get one. You got to get one from the Dolphins, and you might if you're the Jets. I think you can get one from the Patriots.
Okay.
Now they've got all the coordinators that got fired from being head coaches back, so they'll be pretty strong. But I think they can get one. Mac Jones is good. I like the Patriots. They're not. Well, Tom Brady's not on their team.
That's right. Yeah. Well, here's what I'm going to say. So week 1 they play the Ravens. That's an L. Yeah. Taking an L, and they're home on September 11th. Going to take the L. That's going to go be bad. Then they got to play the Browns. I think they can take the Browns.
Yeah.
Because they're the Browns,
sure.
and they have a lot of internal issues.
Yeah.
The Bengals, they're going to get smoked. The Steelers,
I think
it's been a quarterback situation. They have a
sure.
chance against the Steelers. I think they can take the Dolphins at home.
That's 3-2, guys.
3-2. I think they'll probably lose to the Pack and the Broncos, and the Patriots, and the Bills, and then the Patriots again. They will beat the Bears and the Vikings. I think they can take a couple W's.
You can, possibly get that one.
And then they get to end the season on Lions, Jaguars, Seahawks, who have a quarterback problem.
For
Geno
sure.
Smith is their stuff. So
whom was not good enough for the Jets.
For the Jets.
Yeah.
So all of that to say is there's a good 6 possible wins here. I mean, now it's a 17 game, maybe 7 wins. They 7-10.
Yeah.
But I still think the Giants may win more games only because of the NFC least.
Yeah.
It is straight garbage.
I like the Giants coach, for offense. I just think the Giants they don't have a winning mentality. I'm not saying the Jets do, but until the Giants do it, I'm going to have a hard time.
Yeah, completely understandable. Because their schedule is similar to the Jets, right? They start against the Titans, taking an L, no doubt. Then the Panthers aren't very good.
No, but Baker makes them not
stink.
Yeah, right.
Who knows? Cowboys are a giant mystery.
Always.
Then the Bears stink.
Cowboys are coming off a good year, so that probably means they're going to be bad.
Right? So it's 2 wins. Then they play the Packers, probably taking an L. Yeah. Ravens going to take an L. Then the Jaguars, it's 3 wins. Texans, 4 wins. Lions, 5 wins.
Yeah.
Cowboys, who knows? Maybe it's at home in Dallas, so I think that's an L. Then they get to play Washington, and they're terrible. The Eagles, nobody knows.
I think the Eagles are going to be the surprise team.
You think so?
Because their defense is going to be much improved.
Yeah.
And to me, the Dallas, you don't know if they're going to choke.
Yeah.
Giants, you don't know if they're going to be bad or worse. But the Eagles, if Jalen Hurts, and I don't like Philadelphia, that's our least favorite for both of us. City. Yes. But if Jalen Hurts is a game manager plus, I'm not talking about like Trent Dilfer, if he's a better Joe Flacco, I think
who the Jets are ready to go with.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
So I think it's I know we're kind of switching off that, but I think that they could probably catch 2 L's from the Eagles.
Yeah, I think so. I don't see how the Giants win more than 6 or 7 either.
Mhm.
I think both teams are going to be bad. I think you're in for another year of terrible football in New York. What do you think? Who do you have here
Woo!
for your Super
Man.
Bowl teams?
Not the Falcons. Okay.
You don't say.
Yeah. Maybe make 14 cents on that bet. Man, this AFC. I'm going to go. I'm going to keep it in state and go with the Bills. They made it so
Good
close.
Lord. Good, yep.
I love them on both sides of the ball. They're a great coach, great culture. I think they'll finish this year. I think also the Chiefs are going to still be strong, but they got something to prove.
They do.
But I think Von Miller's going to put the defense over the top because
so.
to get the quarterback on the ground,
The Chiefs lost their big wide receiver threat.
they did. This might be dumb to think, but I wonder if they would be. I still think they'll be good because it's just be thrown to the open man.
Yeah.
So the way
That's
their
right.
offense
That's true.
works and with a head
They got
coach and a
Kelsey
quarterback.
still,
Yeah.
you know.
So, but I'm going to go with the Bills, and then I don't want to go with the Buccaneers. So
But can you go against the GOAT?
that's the same thing. If we said that with the Astros, how can you go against Tom Brady?
Yeah.
With I know Gronk's not there yet.
Let's face it, Bowles is probably going to be a better coach.
Yeah.
Arians was checked out.
Yeah, I like Arians though. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
With the offense, he did a good job with those personalities. I do like Bulls a lot though.
Yeah.
So as much as I don't want to, I'm going to go with the Buccaneers.
All right, very good. I'm with you on the AFC. I'm Bills. I think they're a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Like you said, Von Miller puts them where they need to
Yeah.
be. And I think, I'm going with the Bills out of the AFC. The NFC is harder.
Yeah, the Rams, they just won it. They didn't
did
really
just
lose anybody.
I know they didn't lose anybody, and I also think that they played the Bengals, who I was rooting for in the Super Bowl. But I think if they had played the Bills, they would have got smoked. I think the Bills were a better complete team, but they got the coin flip fiasco in Kansas City.
Man, yeah.
So in the NFC though, the East is trash. There's no one coming out of the East. I think it is down to the Buccaneers or the Rams. They're the best two teams.
I'm going to
in the
give you a
NFC.
wild card that I don't like either, but I think the Saints are going to be
You really think so?
a wild card. Hot, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be like the new Cardinals, except because they've got some winners on the team. They've done that before within the organization, and I think their defense is better than it has been. I think that's really going to kind of lift them up. So I think they're going to be a dark. I don't think they necessarily win the division, but I think they can end the regular season at 11 wins.
Hey, look, maybe so. But I think in the end, I'm gonna have to go probably with. It's hard to go back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Hard thing to do. So I'm gonna. But
Tom Brady's got Julio Jones, so if he has a bounce back year,
then they're gonna
loaded.
roll. But I think I am going to get a little difference here. So I am going to go with the Rams though, repeating.
Nice.
At least in the Super Bowl. And we'll come back to it as the season progresses. And every week will not be nothing but sports talk. We do promise, though. It's how today.
Yeah, we just kicked it off this
right.
week.
A lot of things
different
happening.
topics, less sporty
That's
next go around.
We'll do our best. Probably more country music instead, and as it goes.
We'll substitute Waffle House for country music since that's so different.
Well, that's it, Matt. You want to wrap us up out of here as we?
Thanks for tuning in to Walk with Jesus. As we've talked about sports, but the first topic there of routine is really what the whole shebang was about. But thanks so much for tuning in, and keep in mind the other podcasts and sermons on VRBCPOK.org. You can also tune in and click on over to VRBC on YouTube and subscribe to the page. And again, these ministries are just to help all of us in our walk with Christ, and we hope that it happens for you too. Thanks for tuning in, and may the grace of God and His peace be upon you this week.